Call the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. All right, seated for tonight's meeting are... Stop. I'm sorry. Ben Philbrick, Fred Dykeman, myself, Gardner Young, Lynn Conway, and I guess, Peter, you're up, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I think you're the alternate du jour, right? Well, no, we have, there is rules for who the alternate is, and I think you're the man of the hour. Okay. I guess the first order of business is the minutes. Do we have a motion to adopt the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion, any corrections, any changes to the minutes as submitted? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Minutes approved. All right, staff reports.
Yeah, administrative review items. This is number 4D. 4D1, 2018 ZON, Latizori Development, LLC. J. Koistinen, zoning permit application for change of use from retail to personal services and associated signs, property located at 80 Stonington Road, Mystic, Assessors Map 153, Block 3, Lot 1, Zone GC 60. This application, it's a simple change of use from a retail business, which I think was Nest, to a salon and spa, which zoning considers personal services. The use is allowed as of right in the GC 60 zone. The parking demand per zoning is decreasing. Signage is just to replace existing there. The application meets the bulk and use requirements of the zone. And there's no other issues with that.
Lynn?
Keith, so this is where the current Nest is?
Yeah, this is the commercial building, sort of across from the Big Y, with a lot of businesses in it.
Right.
So I believe that's the use that's being replaced.
Right, so so when you said there's no change in sign, there's a sign on the outside of that plaza, kind of more towards Route 1, and then there's the sign over the storefront.
Right. So those will both be replaced.
Okay,
with the new business.
Non-illuminated because that's the way they are now?
Right, right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else on this? But do we have to have a motion to approve it, Keith, is that the...
Yes.
All right, could I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion's been approved and second. Any discussion further than what we have had? All right, all those in favor of approving the change of use signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Moving right along. All right, public hearing. That's where we're up to, I believe. There's nothing, you have nothing else, right, Keith?
Right, yeah, just the public hearing.
I sort of forget where we are on this. Could you bring me up to speed?
Oh, yeah, this has been,
It's been open.
it's been opened but not discussed. Open and continued, but it hasn't been discussed yet. Right, hasn't been presented.
Okay. What do we have to discuss, kids?
Well, first we'll read the call to open the public hearing.
Well, it's reopened, it's sort of reopened.
Oh, true.
It was open, it's just
Yeah.
reopened, we're continuing
True.
the public hearings, we don't have to read the little pink
Yeah.
or anything. All right,
So the applicant hasn't given their presentation yet, so they'll be first up.
okay. Go for it.
Still doesn't work good yet.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Ed Wenke, licensed professional engineer. I promise you I'm not going to take a lot of your time on my presentation on this. Just real quick, the reason why we're continuous because we were still going back and forth with the fire marshal and the building official on certain issues. I'm here tonight representing Precious Memories Place. You all familiar with Precious Memories Place up at 168 Greenmanville Avenue? It was approved by this commission back in 2011 for a special use permit. It's been operating ever since without any problems at all. The property is well maintained, looks great, landscaped wonderful, and it's got a very good reputation. We are here tonight to get a modification of that special use permit. And it's a very minor thing that's being requested. We are adding 3 new students to the current 120 already approved students by this commission. So the total amount, the gross amount of students will be 123. To accommodate that 123, we had to add 1 additional parking space. Currently, there are 24 spaces on the property. We need to add 1 more space. In addition to that, we plan on can I take this? And I can follow you through here. This is the existing building currently right now. This is all approved, this is what's built. We have a deck on this side, and a deck on this side in the back that overlooks onto the, accesses the recreation area. We want to fill in this area, which equates to about 60 square feet of that first floor area. The reason for that is we want to do some interior modifications. There's a teacher's lounge just on the opposite side of that, an existing teacher's lounge, very small. Excuse me, and a bathroom there that's going to be renovated. That teacher's lounge is going to be expanded interior plus that 60-foot little addition to another classroom. The teacher's lounge itself is going to be built downstairs, and I believe this commission had already approved that as part of a consent agenda item last month. As I said, we've been going back and forth with the fire marshal and the building inspector regarding code issues and egress issues. So the last item that we're doing, take this again, is we're going to be adding a small egress stairwell. Hold on. Time to invest in a new one of these. Anyways, small egress stairwell that comes out of the basement and comes up along the side of the building. Currently, right now, there's a Bilco door there. That was part of the original approval, is what's been built. Bilco door doesn't serve as code-approved egress. So I believe part of your application packet must have the color 11 by 17 of that gable wall. This is the gable wall right here, and what you're seeing in red is basically going to be the small little shed extension of that building. It's going to extend off that building only about 4.5, 5 feet. And the Bilco door currently does 5 feet. So we're not going any further past the Bilco door. That's going to provide us with a stairwell from the basement going up to the door up on top. Gives us legal egress out of the new teacher's lounge in the basement.
Can we see that picture again?
Absolutely, actually-
Doesn't that interfere with the staircase to the left there?
No, it does not.
It does not. Oh, okay, I see it. It's coming out,
Exactly, it's an open
way.
deck and
Got
we're
it.
actually
Okay.
coming right up against it. Actually fit in there like a glove,
Thank you.
so
How about the window on the second floor?
that's gonna be readjusted. That part of the glove didn't work. but-
And I understand that you're turning it sideways from the original proposal last month.
Right, we were originally looking at trying to do it coming straight out because that made the most sense, but what we're also trying to do, we were trying to save the Bilco steps that were there and then close around them, which required us to go, straight out, but they didn't meet code as far as the rise and run on it. And this is what we're going back and forth with the fire marshal with,
Thank you.
so.
So, closing in that one deck, is that in any way going to affect any exit on the first floor?
No, in fact, the enclosure itself is gonna have an exit door.
Okay,
All right, and no, none of the egress out of the building, none of the access to the recreation area, none of it's affected. The parking space is up in the corner of the recreation area here, so it takes a little bite out of the recreation area. But we still have more than sufficient recreation area to meet zoning requirements for daycare center and also for the actual current use per period per student. So it really didn't affect anything. And that's going to be a gravel surface parking space, by the way. So, those are the three items right now. As I said, it's pretty minor request. Due to your protocol, we have to come back here and run through the whole special use permit issue. As part of the special use permit application, we had to request a bunch of waivers off the list of requirements. But I think as you look down the list of the requested waivers of this application, you'll understand none of them really applied. None of them really would have done any good. If you'd like, I can go through them one by one. You are going to have to vote on approving those waivers. We asked for a waiver of a type 2 site plan. We do have the site plan showing the layout. There's no changes to the grades. There's no changes to drainage, utilities, nothing like that. Architectural elevations and landscape plans gave you that beautiful color rendering there of the photo. But other than that, we didn't provide any architectural renderings. Water impact study, there's no changes to water demand. Sewer impact study, no changes to the sewer. Storm drainage analysis, no change to the storm drain at all. Erosion control report, no changes to the site grading. Traffic impact studies, we're adding one space, one car. That's hardly measurable in terms of traffic generation. Archaeological studies, we haven't found anything specific on that site yet, so I think we're in the clear. Soils report was really not applicable. Shadow plan wasn't applicable, and this is not going to be done in phases. So those are the waivers we're requesting as a part of this application.
Oh, I have a question about the parking, the additional parking spots.
Absolutely.
Looking at the aerial plan here, it looks like you're notching out the playground.
Yeah, that's what I just mentioned.
So why not co-locate it somehow with the other parking? Why notch the?
There's no additional room for paved parking spaces within the paved parking area. We have ledge outcrops on the north side, and we're right up against the 35-foot buffer on the other side, on the south side. So trust me, if we could have gotten additional parking space back when we originally designed it, we would have squeezed it in. So, and the reality of it is the additional parking space kicks in basically with just one additional student.
Right, I mean, I'm just looking at the picture, you've got cars kind of parked all over the grass here, so why not?
Parked all over the grass.
Well, you've got cars, why not put it, there's a car here, there's another one there.
Yeah, this one here on the grass, I'm not sure about. This whole gravel area is a fire access. So, we could put the additional space in along there, along the side. We want to get into the whole thing with the buffer issue. That buffer is really kind of questionable, and those discussions keep back at. Because in reality, we are maintaining a 35-foot buffer in that area. But the gravel emergency driveway for the fire department pretty much is taking up most of that buffer.
And I get there's no issue with having a car that close to the building and a daycare?
No.
And will there be some sort of, and you're going to just redirect the fence to go around the?
Exactly.
Is there any sort of bollard or anything would keep a car from, you have kids playing right there next to where you're parking.
I highly doubt this car's going to be going fast enough to even knock the fence down by the time they get back there. It's a good question and it's a good point. I think it's overkill. I think that would be overkill.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing though, Peter. So that would be the only parking space.
Chances are it's going to be used by one of the employees. It's not going to be used by one of the parents dropping
Okay,
kids
so
off.
it wouldn't be like a somebody in a
It wouldn't be,
rush.
exactly, it's not a transient parking space. It's,
Okay, I see. Kind of reserved, right,
Exactly.
okay, yeah, got it, okay. Because, I just would hate to see the children out playing, parent comes up quickly.
We would all
Oh,
hate-
that parking spot's always free. you know?
We would all hate to see that, yeah.
Okay.
Now, the air conditioning compressor will be moved, I presume?
No, we went to great lengths to maintain the
Oh, it'll stay-
HVAC
it'll
unit
stay
there. I'm sorry?
So the AC that's here will stay where it is?
That's correct.
Okay. But the Bill K doors will go away?
Bilco door actually gets removed entirely, even the
Okay.
precast steps, but we are coming out of that same opening in the foundation.
Okay, but
To-
you're coming out far enough to not have to move the compressor?
That's correct,
Okay.
yeah. Well, as you're coming out of the foundation, you know, you're gonna be coming out into the opening and you're gonna turn right to go up the stairs. The compressor's on the left.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other? Yes.
I know this is beating a dead horse, but I agree with what you said, and I agree with what you said. And it just seems like a missed opportunity to carve out a space in a child's play area, which I agree with the whole bollard concept, that, you know, isn't for the 9 million drivers that'll pull in there and not hit the gas. It's for the one that would do it and end up in the middle of the playground. But why not just create a parallel gravel space on the side of this drive?
There actually is, it actually is already gravelled. And some of it sometimes is used as
No, I
overflow
mean-
parking.
Carve out of the grass, a 9-foot parallel parking place.
It's a zoning thing where that, there's a 35-foot buffer on the southern side,
Yep.
which takes you almost up to the building, and in which parking really isn't allowed.
Okay, so the driveway's allowed, but the parking isn't allowed?
Yeah, and the driveway, you know, the commission allowed it years ago just for emergency access. And even though, as you see in the aerial photo, once in a while, I'm sure someone, you know, will park there, it can't really be used for a
Understood.
formal parking space.
And Keith, does that buffer extend to the, I guess it's the east of the site? Is that?
It does. It is against that eastern property too.
And the current site respects that buffer on those sides.
So the playground fence is at that 35-foot buffer? Yeah, okay, I understand. Thanks.
Have you explored every option not to have the additional required parking space in that spot? Or explored having a variance? Have you explored anything?
We haven't explored a variance. What we did explore was additional parking further up on the north side of the site. If you're familiar with the site, you know that when you come in, you loop around. You loop around in on the south side, you loop back out on the north side. To the north of that north side, there's a nice big area in there that we would have loved to have had parking up there. But it's solid ledge, it's huge outcrops and boulders, and not very conducive to trying to get A, cars in and out of there based on the grades, and B, the drainage issues. So the only real estate that's left on this site that's viable for this additional parking space is the corner of that. We have explored all the other alternatives. Unfortunately, there aren't that many alternatives to look
Yeah.
at.
If this were a commercial zone, they could have applied to you for a parking reduction, which you can grant when it makes sense, but because this is in a residential zone, they don't have that option. So it might be overkill to even worry about this one parking space for a few more kids, but it's sort of a, you know, nothing short of a variance would really get rid of it.
And there's really no hardship for the variance, so it'd be very difficult to get, to achieve.
Right.
And keep in mind, again, that parking spot is likely going to be used by employees, not parents dropping off kids.
Right here.
Do we have the capability, Keith, of designating that that parking spot is only used by employees?
Yeah, I think it would make sense, which was basically, you know, their description anyway,
Right.
that it just be signed as employee parking only. And really, you know, most parents probably wouldn't even know there's a parking space hidden back there anyway.
Right.
We can make it the employee of the month parking space.
I'm just trying to, come up with a solution.
No,
I
no.
understand it's an extra spot, probably never gonna be used.
That's the reality
But,
of it, unfortunately.
No question, that's,
It's just not ideal.
Sorry.
You're welcome, absolutely. Yeah, this is a public hearing. I'm gonna turn the floor over to Chris Eckersley.
I'm Chris Eckersley, the owner, and I'm there every day, and it's actually so far behind the building, no parent can even see it. So if it can be reserved, I can just be the person. If anybody's gonna keep those kids safe, it's gonna be me. I'm there every day. I'm late even coming here because I was there tonight. I worked till closing, so we could make that my spot. It's the farthest away from any door, so no teacher's gonna wanna walk that far anyway. So I get your point, maybe we put a boulder or something in front of it just to be a secondary precaution.
Right.
While you've got that plan in your hand and we're busy here redesigning your parking lot, you've got a number 8 there in the parking lot?
Right here.
Yeah, so you can't fit a spot there?
No, it doesn't work. It brings us too close to this curve here, and it cuts down. And on top of that, grades change it through here. It's not enough room to make that happen. Trust me, had we been able to do it, we would have
Yeah,
squeezed it in.
okay, all right.
I was the original engineer on the site of that back in 2011. Pretty well familiar with the site itself. It's not so familiar with it.
I'm just gonna ask one other question, and I know
Absolutely.
you've explored everything, but I see you have a flagpole, you've got some green in the parking lot, which makes sense to make it look nice and whatnot, but is that something that could be moved, and is that big enough?
You're talking about the light pole right here. Which is it?
The flagpole at the other end.
Apex and the turnaround.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering if that would help.
In terms of, we eliminate the flagpole, put another
I
space
hate
there?
to say that, but
Well-
perhaps we could just move it or whatnot.
Well, the dilemma with that is that's where cars are turning around. If there was a car space that was located closer to the building in that area, it would be clipped by
Oh.
cars going
Be too
around.
close to the turnaround.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Excuse me.
No, I like the idea of a boulder in front of the spot to.
I think a pipe bollard, if you're
Oh,
trying
well,
to
yeah,
achieve
but
that,
I
a
mean,
pipe bollard is the
A pipe
simplest.
ball, fine, yeah,
You know?
a boulder would look nice from an aesthetic standpoint, put a boulder there, just so, God forbid, somebody hits the accelerator instead of the brake, no kid gets hurt, that's,
Yeah, no, pipe bollard gives us the opportunity to put a post in and put the employee of the month sign on it though, so that would actually serve two purposes. So, but that, we would gladly do that, that's not a problem.
okay, anybody else have any other questions? Okay, thank you. All right, anybody have any, all right, all right, Ed, you've talked, and Chris Eckersley? That's you, so you've talked, so there's nobody else to talk, all right,
We can
all right,
usually check to see.
huh?
General comments?
All right, does anybody have any comments before we close the public hearing? Okay, Carleen, you're good to go, all right. And you're good to go, all right.
thank you.
And there's nobody else here, so I guess that's it. All right, could I have a motion to close the public hearing then?
So moved.
Second?
So-
All right, all those approve, all those in favor, anybody, yes?
Yes.
Okay, the motion, the public hearing is closed. Now, do we have any, Keith, do you want to opine on anything?
Nothing really new. I mean, the application, it meets the zoning requirements here. The special use permit was just required because it was approved at 120 students before, and they were looking for more, and it just triggered this requirement. The votes to be taken, would just be the decision on the waivers requested and the special use permit itself. And it seems like the recommended stipulation that was brought up was that the rear parking space shall be signed as employee parking only and separated from the playground with bollards.
Okay, yeah, that should be fine. All right, so I guess the first thing we have to do is approve the waiver request. Do we have a motion on that?
So moved.
All right, second? All right, motion's been moved and seconded to approve the special use permit waiver requests. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it unanimously. All right, now, I guess, do we have a motion to approve the actual change, the actual special use permit with the stipulations as listed in the report with the addition of the parking requirement?
I make a motion to approve PZ 1931 SUP Eckersley LLC Precious Memory Place Incorporated Special Use Permit application, including the specifications that Keith has read into the record earlier.
Including the bollard addition we just put in? Okay,
I'll second.
all right. All right, so the motion has been moved and seconded. Any other comment or? Okay. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
Thanks for the discussion.
All right, do we have anything else, guys? We good?
That's it.
There you go.
Huh? All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. 7:27, we are adjourned.